Can you give us a brief on what Assembly is all about and the initiative that you have with Inc5?
So the Assembly is a smart lab, a community collaborative that we started about a year ago in Dubai. And the idea for starting this is to actually make available exponential technologies of different kinds to the community in the region. One of the things that we found was we have a lot of people who are doing exceptional stuff in technologies and things which are far ahead of their times. But what we don't see is people who are interested get that knowledge. So we provide, as the Assembly, the access to such knowledge.
Okay. And who are your partners in this initiative?
So this initiative has been started with the support of Qualcomm and Dubai Internet City, and we are hosted at In5, which is the innovation hub in Dubai Internet City.
Okay. The subjects or the topics that you discuss during these workshops, are they based on any kind of feedback from your members or maybe the trends that you see in the market? What is the rationale behind it?
So the way for us to decide if we would build a workshop or do a workshop around a certain topics is dependent on multiple inputs. So of course we look at trends. There are areas and kinds of workshops that are built around trend which would be of interest to people, or something which is being done here. So we're very close to what is happening in the smart city. So when we look around, there are certain things which will become normal for people, which the community will use it. So we've done events which actually focus on things like that. We also have access to a very large community of innovators from around the world who pass by. So they also become part of these workshops, so we build things around them. Our partners like Qualcomm and others also provide us a lot of insight and input, and that also allows us to bring technology and kit which would not be usually available to be available to the maker community.
Okay. When you talk about communities, do you see these kind of communities in other parts of the region in the GCC, or is it just UAE where you see a lot of people actually interested in making smart things?
So I think the interest in doing things with your own hands, or making as you call it, is universal. So you would find people interested in doing this all around the world, and of course all around GCC or Middle East in general. So there is a lot of interest, and you do see small pockets of interest coming up. Now, have they been put together justifiably as a community, or they're an active community? I think that is a work in progress.
Okay. Assembly is one community here in UAE. Do you work with any other communities across the region, maybe to source new ideas, maybe talk about new technologies that are being used in those clubs as well?
So the Assembly is a community collaborative. So when I say a community collaborative, I mean that it learns from collaboration. So we are open to ideas. We work with everybody who has something to share. So even if we have somebody who walks in and say, hey, I know this better, we would actually work with them to probably put these things together. So in that sense, we are open and connected with almost everything that there is. The open source community in general is very connected. So we do get ideas from all around the world and all around similar communities. As I said, we don't see too many organized communities yet in the region. So we are probably one of the early ones. If that is the case, we are ready to share ideas with others who are trying to build communities. So it is a collaboration, and it is a collaboration all the time.
Okay. Coming back to the workshops, whenever somebody learns at the workshops, they might want to actually try it out once they are back in their office or maybe at home. How easy it is to source the components that go into these workshops?
So usually, I don't think the components are the difficult part. Putting them together and making them work and learning to do that is the reason for the workshops. So I think there are methods of sourcing those components. I think it's a question of using those components into an idea which is viable and worthwhile is probably what is important. What we want to tell people is, yes, you can do it. Till recently, most of our startups or, entrepreneurial ventures in this region or around us used to be focused just on software, because hardware is out of reach. What we are trying to tell people is not only software, hardware is also within reach, and you are able to build a solution around a problem which could be particularly local and which may not be a millions of pieces kind of an idea, and you can make it. So yes, you can do it is the message that we want to give people, and yes, they can do it, and we see people doing it. Now, the other thing, where our partnership with Inc5, becomes very important is like if somebody tries to build something, tries to learn something, and then decides, okay, fine, this is something I want to build a startup or a company around. Our partnership or our physical base inside Infire becomes extremely valuable, where they can actually get plugged in directly into the Infire process and possibly get a chance of building that into a company.
Okay. What are the next steps for Assembly apart from the workshops? Are there any events that you're planning?
So one of the other things that we do with the Assembly is challenges, which I briefly touched on before. The challenges are things which we do with partners. So we put together a challenge and we want the community to answer that challenge. And these challenges are in the form of either hackathons or a challenge focused on a particular problem. So we've done various hackathons around, for example, the smart city, where it's a very successful hackathon last year. We do the hackathon at GITEX every year. And the whole idea of this is to actually put together, a series of, kind of challenges for people to actually answer. And this is something which we work with partners as far off as Qualcomm works with us, Dubai Internet City has worked with us, Smart City has worked with us, Intel has worked with us on this. So we actually bring these partners on board and we try to build a solution around it. That is another thing which is very, very attractive for people, where people have a chance of basically showing their skills to a larger community.